traveling the world for gold. Some daddies made of plastic and some other things I love. Won't you come along with me? There's no time for rejection. Hold on tight, such a delight. It's Brian's Wrestling Collection. Me.
What's up, everybody? This is Brian Hardy, and this is another episode of Brian's Wrestling Collection. And today, we went somewhere pretty awesome. We went to Second Chance Toys in Glen Burnie, Maryland. John, special shout out to you. Always hooking up the greatest stuff. And got my hands on a Joey Ramone pop vinyl, which I had one a while back, but got my hands on another one, so that's cool. And today, the find for the Brian's Wrestling Collection vid was none other than the British Bulldog, Davey Boy Smith, WWF Superstars figure from Jakks Pacific, 1996. Now, what's crazy is I remember getting this for Easter that year, and what a awesome figure. Let's take a look at the back. This is Series 3. Bulldog, Mankind, Shawn Michaels, Austin, Brett, and Ahmed Johnson. And then there's the monster ring at the bottom, which originally was an LJN ring that they decided that they were going to use the same design for these Jakks bone crunching figures. And truth be told, the figures were so small in comparison to how big the ring was, but if people can ever find one of these rings nowadays and get their hands on them, they're pretty expensive and they're cool to store your LJNs in. But yeah, this monster ring, it was actually available to me. I had the option to buy it a couple of months back and I turned it down. It was in the ballpark of like probably about $250, $300 or something like that, but I just couldn't pull the trigger on that because I was like, eh. And now, looking back, I kind of wish I would have for my LJN figures. And I know I don't usually talk money, but that's kind of what it was going for at the moment. Spent way more money on more expensive things than that, but at the time, I just couldn't bring myself to doing it. So today, though, was able to get my hands on this British Bulldog Davey Boy Smith figure. Super excited. You could see the KB Toys tag there. $5.99 back then. I wish this figure was still $5.99. I paid a lot more for it than that, but it is pretty awesome. So here we go. Let's unbox this bad boy. Around this time when these figures came out, I do remember I was actually talking to my brother-in-law and at the Adam Armstrong and my son Owen. We were talking about this earlier. I said back when these figures had come out, obviously, I was a huge Brett and Owen fan, so I got every Brett and Owen figure that they came out with for the BCA line, and I still have them as an adult over down here, sitting here on this couch. I'm about to put them all on a shelf. But and I got the other Bulldog figure the other day, which I don't remember how that came. I don't remember how it came packaged or whatever. I got it loose, but this Bulldog figure, like I said, I can remember getting this for Easter, and I can remember this being like my main figure. I was always a huge British Bulldog fan. My dad had wrestled Davey a bunch of times in WWF and always had nothing but positive stories about him and how much of a character he was and how he liked to rib people all the time, just like Owen did. And I think I've mentioned this before on one of these episodes, but my dad has like a really funny story about Davey on an airplane with him, like where the plane was like shaking real bad, a lot of turbulence, like almost going down, and Davey was like all freaking out. And usually he was all calm and chill and relaxed, and he said that was the only time that he's ever seen Davey Boy in complete fear for his life, like where he was like holding on to the edge of the seats and stuff like that, and like running down the aisleway, like freaking out, thinking that the plane was gonna crash. And but yeah, this is a great Bulldog figure. We need to find a European Championship to strap on that. But just so many good memories of this figure as a kid. And at the time, I actually remember that in my Fig Fed when I was younger, that the most play that this got was I would have Royal Rumbles, and of course I would have it come down to Davey and Shawn all the time in the Rumble, just like 1995. But then the other thing is I would have tag team title matches, and it would literally be Davey and Owen versus Vader and Mankind from WrestleMania 13. Everywhere I went. Didn't matter if it was in the backyard, the living room, the bedroom, every big Fed pay-per-view was Davey and Owen versus Mankind and Vader for the tag team belts. And I guess that was just, it was very impressionable for me as a 7-year-old kid when I saw that match happen on pay-per-view. So, but yeah, this figure from top to bottom is just so cool. I think that, you know, for BCA line, this is probably in at least my top, 5 figures, because like I said earlier, I was very invested in all the Brett and Owen figures, but I really loved the British Bulldog. I loved Ken Shamrock's figure that they came out with where he was in like the red trunks, and I loved the first Rocky Maivia figure in the blue trunks. And those were like 5 of my top BCA figures that I would play with. Of course, Brett and Owen were a given, and then Davey followed right after. I guess you could put Sean in some of those, top faves, maybe my top 10, him and his turquoise tights that's actually on the back of the packaging right here. That was a great figure as well. But either way, Superstars Series 3, British Bulldog Davey Boy Smith figure. Always loved this photo of him. Just think that Davey was amazing. Still think he is amazing. And I should have been wearing my British Bulldog chalkline jacket that I just got last week in this video. But I'm just representing the Major Figure Pod. And yeah, so anyway, guys, thanks so much for tuning into this episode of Brian's Wrestling Collection. Be sure if you're in the Glen Burnie, Maryland area that you stop on into Second Chance Toys and check out what they've got. They've always got a great selection of action figures. John Cook is an amazing dude. And to be honest with you, I'm going to go ahead and throw a little advertisement up for my buddies Chad and Chris for their signing at John's store for Buff Bagwell. Buff the Stuff is coming to town in just 2 weeks. So who knows? Check it out. See you guys on the next episode of Brian's Wrestling Collection.
Smoke and mirrors, all I see. Dear Lord, I love this industry.